Alrighty, very good, ladies and gentlemen. We are getting ready to start our live streaming platform right now. Let's do our introduction and we will begin.
Gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go.
All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How's everyone doing tonight? I want to welcome everybody to this show. Let's do this. Make sure that we have everything working. Good. Hopefully the sound is working. Let's just double check, make sure. All right. Sound working. Default has changed. We're good. All right. Very good, ladies and gentlemen. It's a one-man show, and I just want to make sure that the show is going on as planned. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the quickest hour in real estate, where we discuss the requirements of running a real estate business and obtaining a real estate license. This Monday and every single Monday, I run this real estate class. This class is all about learning how to become a successful real estate professional. Hello, everyone. I'm Warren Nelson, owner and director of Online Real Estate School, Inc., and owner and guest speaker of my own podcast, Real Estate Saved My Lifestyle, and proud sponsor of this live streaming real estate class. This is the quickest hour in real estate, and I want to welcome everyone to tonight's show. I want to talk to you today about creative advertising so that you do not fall victim to this creative advertisement while searching for an education provider. There is a difference between a certification and a license. There's a difference between a certification class and a licensed class. A certification means that you understand the subject you were taking, and the certification is a form of achievement that you attended and understood the subject. However, the certification does not authorize you to represent others in that subject, nor does it allow you to charge a fee for any services you provide. A license, on the other hand, says that not only did you understand the subject you were taking, but you now are authorized to represent others in that subject, and it allows you to charge for your services. The license also says that you have oversight and required actions to keep your license to operate under that license. For instance, let's just say that you take a certification course in helping sellers sell their property. This course offers you a certification upon completion of the course. This course is strictly for educational purposes, so that you may obtain more knowledge in the subject of understanding the mechanics involved in the process. So, if someone wanted to sell their home for, let's say, $300,000, you would have the understanding of the process, but that would be the extent of your involvement. Now let's take this same scenario. Let's say that you take a license course in helping sellers sell their property. This course offers you a license upon completion of the course. This course is not only for educational purposes and activity involvement, but it also allows you to represent the seller with the knowledge in the subject of understanding the mechanics involved in the process, So if someone wanted to sell their home for, let's say, $300,000, you would have not only the understanding of the process, but you would legally be allowed to charge the seller to assist them in the sale of their home and to represent them. A certification would earn you no money in this example. But if you negotiated, say, a 5% commission to represent the seller, you would have earned $15,000 for your assistance and service if you were licensed rather than certified. So there's a difference between a certification and a license, ladies and gentlemen. And you got to be very, very careful about the advertisement and the marketing that you are reading and applying for and applying to. So be careful. Here's another thing that you have to watch out for when searching for your education providers. If the education provider does not call themselves a school, then they're probably not licensed to provide the classes. They might have the knowledge and the experience to share with you, but the course would not qualify for licensing requirement. For instance, the education provider goes by the name of the Institution of Real Estate Education. Very play on words there. The Institution of Real Estate Education, or the Schooling of Real Estate. Notice they can't call themselves a school, so they're using a little play on the words. The Schooling of Real Estate, or Real Estate Schooling, or the Higher Education of Real Estate Education. See what they're doing, ladies and gentlemen? These are all play on words to make you think that you're going to not only a qualified, educated school, but a school that is licensed to teach these classes. None of these, the Institution of Real Estate Education, the Schooling of Real Estate Schooling, or the Higher Education of Real Estate Education, has the name school in their name. They can't call themselves a school because they're not licensed by the state to be a school. So they have to be creative in even their name, and you got to be careful of what you're signing on to. These are creative ways to confuse the student searching for a curriculum to obtain a real estate license. All schools, ladies and gentlemen, that are licensed to offer real estate education will be licensed by the state, and those license numbers should appear in their advertisement. If they are licensed and recognized by the state licensing agency as a school, they will be allowed to call themselves a school. But if they are not licensed and not recognized, then they must be creative in their name and their advertisement. Also, you should cross-reference any education provider that you are researching with the Bureau of Professional and Occupational Affairs. If you simply place Bureau of Professional and Occupational Affairs in the search engine, it will direct you to your state website, and then you simply check any license that the educational provider may or may not have, as well as any complaints that may be on file. So again, this is called the Bureau of Professional and Occupational Affairs. It is a state website that allows you to do some more research on the school and the schooling activity that the school is offering, if they are even a school. So check in the Bureau of Professional and Occupational Affairs website, and doing some more research on the school would behoove you in your endeavors to find a school if you're looking for a licensing facility to get a real estate license. Do your research of educational providers, and this should also lead you to the provider's website and their reviews. The reviews are an important part of your research, and it is what gives you that gut feeling about the provider. You get a gut feeling if the reviews are genuine or if they're doctored in some way. You kind of just know if the reviews are real or they're not real. Also, when you call the provider, a real person should answer the phone and should be able to explain to you the process that helps in the research and your decision making. However, an audio recording does very little to help you with your research. It's impersonal and it hinders the research process when you can't speak with somebody. Online Real Estate School Inc. is licensed by the state to offer this 75-hour pre-licensed course in the state of Pennsylvania to prepare the students to understand the mechanics of real estate transactions and to allow you to represent others in the real estate process. I want you to hear from some of my students and the experience that they've had in my classroom so that you can understand if what they are saying is true or if it is doctored in some way. So this is always the best way when you're doing a research. Check out their license, check out the Bureau of Professional Affairs, check out their website, check out their reviews, and make a decision for yourself if you believe that this is the right course of action for you.
Well, this school was the only school with 5-star reviews. I did a lot of research.
The information that you give us is just like amazing.
I had a family member that attended your school and they just spoke wonders about you.
I think like most of everybody in the class, it was the reviews for me.
After reading your reviews and just trusting my friend, he said, you're 100% the way to go, and I do not regret it at all whatsoever.
Your school is amazing.
When I came to you, it was within my expectations.
And the broker knows like, okay, this person, wherever they're going to school at, they know what they're doing.
Once I talked to you and spoke to you, I was just like, okay, I think this is the right school.
Personally, I have a very good friend that's actually in the real estate business already a broker. He actually recommended you to be a teacher.
Like served as a mentor, just as many others have said. So it's been a pleasure. It really has.
After your classes, I become like more knowledge and it's great. It's a great journey with you.
You care about all your students.
He's more than a teacher. He's a mentor. He's someone you look up to.
And you're a great teacher, to be honest with you. You slow down when people have a question. You review things as many times as we need you to.
But you take your time. You actually read to us to get to know and understand this. And I am so ready.
Very glad that I chose your school. It's online school, so it's great for me because you don't have to travel anywhere. I just choose you and it was it was a great time.
I thank you, and I would take this class over and over and over and over and over.
One of the best teachers ever.
This would be really good for me. And then I think what really pulled me in was once I talked to you on the phone.
I did see the 5-star review. I did look around a little bit.
I mentioned you, and your school is like really, a lot of people knows about your school.
And I was a little bit skeptical because 5-star reviews, no business, no nothing has 5-star reviews. But it worked out amazing and I'm happy I chose this school.
But the information that you give, that you give more than a lot of teachers out there give.
Oh, absolutely. I think the school actually really went beyond my expectations.
I cannot thank you enough for the experience and just preparation to run my own business.
It's like more information that you give us, the more knowledge. I just lock that into my brain and I know I'm just going to get out there and achieve a lot of things.
Working with you has been a pleasure. It really has. You served as a mentor.
And I would definitely recommend it to anyone who is looking into any kind of real estate at all.
One of my greatest rewards, ladies and gentlemen, is being an instructor, seeing students at the very beginning of their journey in real estate and watching what they go on to accomplish as the years go by. And so it's very, very rewarding position to be in at this junction in my life. So I'm very happy to be able to offer this school Online Real Estate School Inc. It is a virtual class, ladies and gentlemen. So it's live streaming. You get to see me, talk to me, ask me questions, just as if you were sitting in the classroom. And it's done by this platform, a Zoom platform. And you'll see that I'm going to teach you how to incorporate the Zoom platform into your real estate business. Because those who know me know that I don't stop teaching after the class. Once you get your real estate license, I offer a brokerage that basically caters to brand new real estate agents to help them run their real estate business, to get their business off the ground. A lot of brokers would prefer seasoned agents before they take them. A lot of brokers don't want to spend a lot of time in teaching new agents. It's a lot of work. It is a lot of work. You got to cultivate them, you got to encourage them, and you got to guide them into believing in themselves. And a lot of brokers don't have that discipline or that will. So I'm there. That is the whole purpose of my function in this junction in life, is to pay it forward and to educate my students even outside the classroom. And so when I tell you that I'm going to teach you how to run a real estate business, I literally mean I'm going to teach you how to run a real estate business. I'm going to make you successful. Let me give you a scenario if I can. Let's get started with the real estate. A licensed real estate agent places themselves in a position of higher education and affords them higher income potential. Let me give you a typical scenario. Someone is interested in moving. They own their home that they are currently living in. It may be free and clear of all liens and encumbrances, or there might be a mortgage or a loan that must be satisfied upon the sale of the property. In either case, you are trained and educated in the proper procedures to carry out this transaction. Now, let's just say that you have determined that the fair market value for the property is $300,000. This means the seller can ask $300,000 for their property, and you, the licensed real estate agent, believes the property will appraise for this value should the buyer obtain a mortgage to purchase the property. See how you are educated and able to represent the seller in this matter so far? Now, let's say the seller accepts your offer to assist them in the sale of their home. Now comes the understanding of the process of marketing and advertising the property for sale. You then need to show the property to potential purchasers, and then you need to be able to negotiate any offers that are received. After this negotiating process is complete, it hopefully leads to an agreement of sale. This is the contract that is the mutual agreement between the seller and the buyer, that they both accept the terms and the consideration for the property. So mutual assent or mutual agreement. The buyer agrees to buy the property at the agreed upon price, and the seller agrees to sell the property to the buyer. So this is a mutual agreement, which is known as the agreement of sale. And once again, because of your knowledge and your ability to represent the seller, we have now gotten to this stage of the transaction. So you found somebody who was looking to sell their home. You offered your assistance. They took you up on your offer. You told them what their property could be worth in a fair market value. You now are negotiating and marketing their property. You negotiated a contract. And now you're at this stage of the transaction, ladies and gentlemen, which I trained you and taught you how to do. And that's what the Real Estate Commission wants you to understand. When you take this pre-licensed class, the 75-hour class, the Real Estate Commission wants you to understand the fundamentals and the practice of real estate so that you can do exactly what we've laid out here so far. Now we enter the stage, now that we're under agreement between the buyer and seller, now comes the stage of the inspections, the certifications that the municipality or the city or the state may be requiring to obtain any fees necessary to process this complete transaction. The buyer needs to know how much it would cost them to purchase the home. The seller would like to know what they will net after expenses are arranged and taken care of. So this is known as the estimated closing cost. Buyer needs their estimated closing cost. Seller needs their estimated closing cost. This was done before this agreement of sale was actually signed. So once again, you would have the knowledge and the know-how of knowing what to do, when to do it in this process known as a real estate transaction. So once again, what you're doing is taking this class so that you can represent the seller or the buyer, and you can explain to them as the process progresses where they stand, what they need to do, what's next on the chain of the ladder that they're going to have to accomplish before we can get to the big day. Now that big day, ladies and gentlemen, is known as settlement. The big day comes where the buyer and the seller meet at what's called settlement, the settlement table, and we exchange paper. The buyer receives the deed and the seller receives their check for the sale of the property. So this is known as the exchange of paper. This is called delivery and acceptance of the deed. And it's at this moment, ladies and gentlemen, that the buyer becomes the owner of the property once the buyer receives the deed and the seller receives their check. Now, there are going to be several people at the settlement table. There might be the lender and the buyer, because the buyer is buying this property with a mortgage. And then there's going to be the buyer's agent. Then there's going to be the seller, the seller's agent. And there might be attorneys at the table for both the buyer or the seller as well. And then there's going to be the closing agent, which is known as the title company, somebody that needs to follow the closing instructions, which is the agreement of sale, to make sure that all the terms that were negotiated in the agreement of sale have been completed, including the final walkthrough of the property. So this transaction, this real estate transaction, this process is what you will be learning in my class and what the state requires you to understand so that you may help a buyer and a seller in the real estate transaction from beginning to end. From the time that we did the agency agreement to the time that we transferred the deed at settlement, your job is to understand the process. My job is to teach you the process and to make sure that you understand the process so well that you can pass a state exam that deals with the process of the real estate transaction. And then once you pass the state exam, I literally hands-on show you exactly how to deal with the buyers and the sellers in this process. The settlement, ladies and gentlemen, is also the stage that you, the real estate agent, who is representing the real estate brokerage, who also represents the seller. One of the things that you're going to learn is that you represent the broker represents the client. So you will be at the settlement table in the capacity of the brokerage, representing the broker represents the clients, and now you receive your compensation for your services. This is your commission checks, and this is all the fees that were agreed to. The title company will now be cutting these checks to your brokerage, and this is your payday, as we call it in the real estate business. Now, let's use the scenario that we talked about a little earlier, where you negotiated a 5% commission for your services. This means that now you have a $15,000 payday coming to you. The house was a $300,000 property. You negotiated 5% commission with the seller, and that commission check is $15,000 to sell their $300,000 property. This scenario, as described so far, is really a dual agency scenario and 100% commission position with the brokerage. We'll talk about agency, employment, and the consumer notice. Buyer agent, where you represent just the buyer. Seller agent, where you represent just the seller. Dual agent, where you would represent the buyer and the seller in the same transaction. And we'll talk about the difference between agent dual agent and broker dual agency. So these are the things that you need to learn. And we'll talk about designated agency and transactional licensee. So one of the very first forms that I teach you in the real estate business that the Real Estate Commission wants you to give to everybody is called the consumer notice. And the consumer notice will explain agency. In my scenario that we quickly went through, it would be a dual agency situation where you're representing both the buyer and the seller. Remember, the seller gave you the task of selling their property, marketing and advertising the property, and those efforts paid off and you found a buyer for the seller's property. This is exactly what I really like you to understand. A lot of agents are what we call designated agents, where one's designated to represent the buyer, one's designated to represent the seller. And this is known as commission splits or sharing your commission. ABC Brokerage represents the buyer, XYZ Brokerage represents the seller, and this $15,000 payday would be split between two brokerage that would be known as single agency. One agent representing the buyer, one agent representing the seller. But the state of Pennsylvania does allow dual agency, and rightfully so, ladies and gentlemen, logically so. The seller did not hire you to put the property in the multiple listing service and sit back with the seller and wait for another agent to sell the property. The seller hired you to sell the property. The seller hired you to find a buyer for the property. So the seller's okay with dual agency. It's really where it comes to the buyer and the disclosure that's necessary for the buyer to make sure that the buyer's represented as well as the seller. And that's where the Real Estate Commission comes in to make sure that you understand real estate practice, real estate fundamental, so that both the buyer and the seller have equal representation in the transaction today. And so that's why the consumer notice explains agency. Agency is the services that we're allowed to offer and the services that we may not offer in the state of Pennsylvania. And so taking this class will give you the fundamental understanding of what the state requires you to understand so that you may represent others in a real estate transaction and that you may charge for your services. You may not receive compensation for real estate services without a real estate license. That's a criminal offense to be practicing real estate without a real estate license. You may not manage property without a real estate license. Now let's clarify that. When I say manage property, I mean you may not take a lease and you may not take security deposits without a real estate license, not legally. Now you can fix the property up, renovate the property, maintain the property. That you don't need a real estate license for, but you may not take the lease and you may not take security deposits without a real estate license. There is only one caveat to that, and that is you own the property. The property is your property, it's in your name, and you're managing your own property. You don't need a real estate license to manage your own property. You do need the knowledge of understanding the proper way of dealing with the security deposit and making sure the lease complies with state law requirements. But if you take a lease or security deposit for any property that is not yours, then you need a real estate license in the state of Pennsylvania to do that. So all this will be taught in my school so that you have the basics and fundamental understanding to assist others in their real estate transaction. And notice that you just made a $15,000 commission check. So here's the ultimate question. How many transactions a year will you have to do to make the income that will satisfy your desired lifestyle? 1 deal, 2 deals, 10 deals? You'll know what you want ultimately, what your goal is each year, what your lifestyle requires, and how much income. Ladies and gentlemen, let's take a reality test here. Do you see what it costs for gas right now? And I can tell you by Memorial Day, the price is going to be well over $5 a gallon. This means it's going to cost you $100 to fill up your gas tank. No kidding. Is the job that you're working with right now going to be able to fill up your gas tank? Are you making enough money to fill up your gas tank just to go back and forth to your job? You do need a different source of income in this world that we live in, ladies and gentlemen. One source of income. Working a part-time job is not going to cut it, especially when it's going to cost you $100 to fill up your gas tank, and when it's going to cost you more money because of inflation for everything that you are buying. Interest rates are going to climb, and that's to control inflation, so the interest rates do have to go up. But when the interest rates go up, ladies and gentlemen, consumer confidence starts to wane a little bit, and people start to get a little apprehensive. Is now the right time to buy? The answer is yes. Always the right time to buy. Even in the 1920s, during the Great Depression, it was still the right time to buy real estate. So every millionaire, billionaire, and trillionaire has real estate in their portfolio, ladies and gentlemen. I assure you they did not make it by stocks, bonds, or commodities. So real estate is the name of the game. And so a job is not going to cut it, ladies and gentlemen, when it costs $100 just to fill up your gas tank. And so you're going to feel the pinch come Memorial Day. So now comes the time where I want to encourage you to look for a different source of income or another source of income. And may I encourage you to consider real estate. It has many valuable commodities, ladies and gentlemen, and many different rewards. First, by taking this class and obtaining your real estate license, this puts you in a position to earn this type of income. Again, ladies and gentlemen, I'll tell you what. Let's get realistic. Let's just say that your commission's only $4,000. All right? Let's go with a very low. You're splitting your commission. You're cutting your broker down. You're walking away with $4,000. Ladies and gentlemen, 20 deals a year, which is very, very doable, but you do need the lessons and the knowledge to understand this. Again, ladies and gentlemen, what are we talking about here? All right, 4,000 times that by 20, $80,000. All right, do 25 deals, and you're making $100,000 a year. And I'll teach you how to do those 2 deals a month, ladies and gentlemen. There's 12 months in a year, and you can easily do. I know agents who don't even do 10 deals a year, but they're happy with the extra income that they're making. And I have other agents that I know are doing 10 deals a month. A lot of work. Not easy to do 10 deals a month. A lot of work. However, some agents, ladies and gentlemen, they work 3 to 4 months a year, and then they spend all winter in the warmer climates enjoying. So they come here, they work 4 or 5 months, they knock it out of the park, and then they enjoy life in the islands in the winter months. They're not even here during the winter months. So in this business, ladies and gentlemen, of real estate transactions and being able to represent others, it's going to be the most money and the most rewards that you're probably ever going to do for an occupation. You're going to be your own boss. You're going to be known as an independent contractor, and you're going to be running your own real estate business. But a school that usually teaches you pre-licensing only preps you to pass the real estate exam. My school not only preps you to pass the real estate exam, but in this 75-hour class, I'm going to teach you how to run a real estate business. I'm going to teach you how to invest in property legally and ethically, ladies and gentlemen. That's what this class is all about. It's not about get-rich-quick schemes. It's not about technique on investing or taking advantage of somebody's disadvantage situation. What I teach you is owner financing, creative financing, terms, deed of trust rather than a mortgage. And so if you understand the proper way of investing in property, the legal way, then you can make a lot of money and help a lot of people in their situations. Dual process. So I'm going to teach you not only how to run a real estate business, I'm going to teach you how to invest in property legally and ethically so that you can look yourself in the mirror and know that we're not putting people in the streets, we're not taking advantage of somebody, and we're buying things right. How about an auction? You go to an auction to buy a property. Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? If you didn't know the process of doing the title search on that property, in certain parts, like Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, junior liens are not wiped out. So utility, let's say you bought a property at auction, it's got a $10,000 water bill on it, that doesn't get wiped out in Philadelphia and Pittsburgh. PUC got together with city council many moons ago and said we can't afford these junior liens or utility liens to be wiped out at auction. So the PUC, Public Utility Commission, got together with city council many moons ago, several years back, and changed the rules of auction property. Now today, when you buy property at foreclosure auction, those liens are not wiped out in Philadelphia, Harrisburg, and Pittsburgh. They are in the county, but not in the cities and the municipalities. So you need to have this fundamental understanding just to be able to invest in property. Having this platform, ladies and gentlemen, the platform that the state requires you to know and understand is the platform that you should be investing in so that you have a dual purpose here. One, you're learning about real estate. Two, you're learning about investing in property. Three, you're learning about how to run a real estate business. And four, ladies and gentlemen, you're getting a license by the state of Pennsylvania to operate your business, to charge for your services, to represent others. So this is the class that you want to take in order to become a professional real estate business, a professional real estate investor, and a professional real estate individual with knowledge, the correct knowledge of real estate, so that you may go on to help others in their real estate transactions. So in this situation, ladies and gentlemen, not only did you help the seller sell their property and you made a nice compensation for helping them, now they're going to need help buying their next property. So you get to assist them again in buying. So you went from representing them as a seller to now representing them as a buyer, because once they sell a property, they're going to need to know or have someplace else to live. If they're not moving to warmer climates like Florida or Arizona or the islands somewhere to retire, then chances are they're going to need to have another property to live in after they sell this property. Why did they sell the property in the first place? It's called the 7-year itch, ladies and gentlemen. Every 7 to 10 years, we want to do something different. We're tired of our neighbors. We're tired of our life. We're tired of our property. We're tired of our relationship. We're tired of our job. And so every 7 to 10 years, we want to do something different. People don't really live in properties 30 years and longer, not anymore. Our attention span is short, and we'll talk about the different generations: the baby boomer generation, Generation X, Generation Y, the millennial generation, and Generation Z, or the Zers, Generation Z generation. Every 10 years is a generation, and you have to understand that things change in that time period. And so today's generation, or younger generation, they are quicker. They scan faster. They don't spend much time in the research. They want answers quickly. They want everything bottom lined quickly. I don't have much time. I'm not doing anything, but I don't have any time to do it anyway. So I'm busy doing nothing, and it is taking up all my time. So please bottom line it for me. So you're going to have to understand that the baby boomers, Generation X, Generation Y, is different than the millennial generation and Generation Zs. And so in my class, I will teach you the psychology of dealing with the public. We also deal with a global community, ladies and gentlemen. It's not as vanilla and chocolate as it used to be, ladies and gentlemen. We have many more flavors in our society that we're dealing with. And when we're dealing with different cultures, I represent a large Islamic community, I represent a large Israeli community, I represent a large Filipino community, and each of these cultures has different techniques, different styles, different usury laws, different religious beliefs that you as a representative will have to understand, that we're dealing with not just generation but cultures, and these different cultures you will have to cater to. So learning how to run a real estate business is more than just being book smart, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to have to apply our street smarts into the class so that you may represent the public, and you're going to be out there representing the public, and it's going to be very rewarding, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to take you down many roads that you probably never even imagined. If you ever thought about getting into politics, well, getting a real estate license is one of the easiest ways to get in politics. How so? They're always looking for members in Harrisburg to sit on boards, real estate boards. We have many different boards, and we're always looking for members. And while you are asked to sit on this board, we're in Harrisburg, and you get to hobnob with city council members. You get to hobnob with commissioners and many politicians. And before you know it, doors are opening up for you in the political arena. How would you like to be a committee man or a committee person? There's your beginning of your political career, and it started with a real estate license. There are many avenues that you can take with the real estate license. You don't necessarily have to work for a broker. You can go to work for a Fortune 500 company. You can go to work for a franchise. They're all in the real estate business, ladies and gentlemen. It's not like you can order a hamburger online and have it delivered to you hot. Now, there are services out there that are getting to the point, but the point is we're still going to need real estate. We're coming out of a pandemic eventually, but we're not going to change what we've experienced in the pandemic. Live streaming, virtual classes. Some people will prefer to keep it that way. Some people do not want to get too close to other people. Sitting in a classroom where somebody's coughing or sneezing is known as a disruptor. Do you think you're going to be able to concentrate when the person next to you is coughing or sneezing? So again, the live streaming class will be preferable to many of our newer generations, Generation Z and the millennial generation. So understand, some of them will never want to go to the in-person class and deal with the disruptors, have to deal with the traffic, the parking, the travel time, the expense. Excuse me, $100. I get choked up every time I say it. $100 to fill up your gas tank. Why would you want to be spending $100 to fill up your gas tank to go to an in-person class when we now offer virtual classes? And you can tell by the reviews if the virtual class is a good platform or it's not a good platform. And so I'm very proud of what I have achieved, what I've put together with this live streaming show, with my podcast, with my virtual classes, and what I will continue to put together through my brokerages and my other ventures. I own many different companies, ladies and gentlemen, and most of, if not all, the students that come to my class are entrepreneurs. They have that entrepreneur blood pumping through their veins. They are not your typical person that sits around doing nothing. They want to achieve more. They want to accomplish more, and they understand that there is no entitlement programs. There's no handouts. You have to work to succeed. So in this situation, ladies and gentlemen, mostly all the students that come to my class are with this fundamental understanding that they're willing to put in the effort and the time to achieve their next journey in life. And running your own business has many advantages, ladies and gentlemen. Tax advantages, achievement advantages, and the assistance of helping others in many ways. So having a real estate license should be a natural step for you, ladies and gentlemen. So let's get started. Our next class is April 5th, 2022. That's our next class. I offer two classes. I have a morning class, which is 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And we take a half-hour break, so it's a 3.5-hour class. And we offer this class Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So we offer a morning class, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. And we also offer an evening class, 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. Once again, keep in mind, we take a half-hour break. So it's a 3.5-hour class, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So morning class, 9 to 1, evening class, 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. In my class, as you probably already know, not only will I teach you how to pass the state exam, I'm also going to teach you how to run a real estate business. I'm going to show you how to invest in property. I'm going to show you the easy techniques of understanding math. Math is very easy once you understand the three variables. My students always feel a little nervous when it comes to math and testing. And that's really because of the society and the schooling that we've gone through, that math's not really taught well. It's believed to be something that's very hard, and it's not. It's a universal language, ladies and gentlemen. And I can prove to you that math is easy. When it comes to our money, math's never a problem. When it comes to our money and knowing how much money we're supposed to have at the end of the day and at the end of the week. So math is easy once you get past the fundamentals, that it's not hard. And so once I teach you the three variables in math, math is very easy. I'll teach you proration, I'll teach you amortization, I'll teach you commission, I'll teach you the math that you're going to need to know in the real estate business. Then I'm also going to teach you long-term memory techniques in my class as well. I'll show you how the brain works. I'll show you the two hemispheres of the brain, or how we operate with short-term memory and long-term memory. And once I teach you the fundamentals of the long-term memory techniques, then it makes it very, very easy to remember everything that you're learning, pass the state exam, and then go on to use these long-term memory techniques in your business and your everyday life. You ever read something and after you're done reading it, you have to read it again because you already forgot what you just read? Well, there's a reason for that. You ever get somebody's name, after they tell you their name, you already forgot their name? Having the long-term memory techniques, you would remember the things that you're reading, you would remember somebody's name, and therefore you would not be embarrassed, and it would be good for your business to be able to memorize and remember things that you need to have in life and in business. So I figured that all these things needed to be incorporated. The fundamentals and practice of real estate. The state requires that you have a thorough knowledge of real estate practice and real estate fundamentals. But a lot of students wander after they pass the state exam and don't know what to do next. Me teaching you how to run a real estate business in the class will naturally take you to your next step of not only passing the exam, but learning how to run a real estate business. And then after that, I'm going to teach you to see opportunities. When you're in the real estate business, opportunities will drop in your lap. Let me give you, for example, mom and dad passed away and they left a property to me. I no longer live in Pennsylvania. I'm living in Florida. And the property that they left to me, I really don't want. I don't want to be dealing with it. I like to just get it quickly sold. And here's an opportunity, because you're in the right place at the right time, to be able to take advantage of an investment opportunity. Because the person receiving the property actually doesn't want the property, or to deal with the management of the property, to deal with the taxes on the property, and so forth. And so now they call you and ask you, can you get this property sold quickly as you can? And since you're investing in property as well, see the opportunity that presented itself. This opportunity would not have presented itself to you if you were not in the right place at the right time. Having that real estate license and this knowledge puts you in the right place at the right time. All right, so I'll teach you how to invest in property, and I'll teach you these memory techniques, all these things that you can incorporate not only in your business, but in your life, ladies and gentlemen. Now, it's $299 for Real Estate Fundamental, which is a 4-week class. And then the following month, It's $299 for real estate practice, another 4-week class. This is going to be the best investment that you ever made in yourself, ladies and gentlemen. And I broke it into 2 classes because if you take the first class and you feel that you're not learning what you were hoping to learn, if it's not for you, it's just not working for you, then you don't have to invest in the other $299. Most schools would charge you up front the whole amount, whether you learn or don't learn. Also at my school, ladies and gentlemen, once you pay for my class, you never have to pay for it again. You may come back to my class over and over and over again. That's the other beauty of a virtual class. I don't have to worry about seating arrangement. I don't have to worry about a location that only fits 20 students or 30 students or 40 students. And then not be able to offer those students a chance to come back to the class because my class is full. In the virtual class, there's always going to be room. So you can always come back to my class anytime you want, free of charge, once you pay for my class. And I'm one of the only schools that offer this. I'm not the only school, but I am one of the very few schools that offer this advantage, that once you pay for the class, you never have to pay for it again. When I give you my website, what I want you to see on my website is my reviews. See the reviews, see what the other students have said. I want you to see my calendar, see the classes that are coming up. I got classes all the way up until November of this year. I think I'm going to take December off this year, so I didn't put anything on my calendar for December. So I got classes every month all the way up until November this year. So see my calendar and see what your schedule will allow you to do so that you can jump into my classes. My classes, you can be paid for by credit card. It can be paid by Cash App. My students talked me into the Cash App. Yo, Professor, you don't have Cash App? Never even knew what it was. So it was my students' guidance that said that I should incorporate Cash App so that today's generation, which works with much more apps and more computer technology, would be better able to sign up for the class through the Cash App and through the Zelle payment processor. So we offer these things now, ladies and gentlemen, thanks to my students' feedback and suggestions. So you can pay by credit card, Cash App, Zelle. Just go to onlinerealestatesschoolinc.com, onlinerealestatesschoolinc.com. As you can see behind me, ladies and gentlemen, there it is, onlinerealestatesschoolinc.com. Very proud of what I've accomplished and put together to give my students everything that they need to succeed in their journey. If there's anything else that I can do or offer to get you to invest in yourself, please let me know. Because if I said it 1,000 times, I'll say it again, Selling a product is easy. Anybody can sell a product. But selling a class where I have to get people to invest in themselves, to take that initiative to get back into school and to learn, is a whole different ballgame. Selling a product, anybody can sell a product. But selling lessons, selling education, and selling the belief that you can do this, you can better yourself, it's a whole different ballgame, ladies and gentlemen. I want you to believe in yourself. I want you to understand you got a minimum investment. Invest at $300. Take the first half of the class. I'm sure you spent more than $300 at the casino in an hour. And what did you have to show for it? So this way here, ladies and gentlemen, you want to make those $15,000 commission checks, you want to make $100,000 a year, it starts with a $299 investment. If you're willing to invest in yourself, I promise you, I will give you every available resource that you need to succeed. I'll give you the resource that the state requires you to have. I'll give you the resource of my 30 years of knowledge, and I'll give you the resource to believe in yourself. So once again, if there is anything else that I can do or offer to get you to invest in yourself, please let me know. Listen, call me. I'll even work a mentor program, ladies and gentlemen. Even if you don't even have the $299, you call me. 267-972-1084. Let me give you that number again. 267-972-1084. You'll see it all over the place in all my advertisement. Call me, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know what your situation is. I'll even work out a mentor program with you. where I'll teach you real estate and teach you how to run a real estate business. I'll put you in the real estate business. You have nothing to lose with me, ladies and gentlemen. It just takes that initiative. It takes you to motivate you to pick up the phone and call me. And it takes you to motivate you to be in my class. Once you're in my class, you'll love it. You won't want to miss a class. You will be motivated to come back and forth to the classes. That's a no-brainer. I got the class very, very entertaining, ladies and gentlemen. I put real life scenarios into the class. I put court cases into the class. And every now and then, I'm thinking about inviting some guest speakers if they understand the Real Estate Commission's rules and regulations that are required to be a guest speaker in the class, and they comply with the rules and regulations of the Real Estate Commission's requirements. Then I'm thinking about incorporating some guest speakers into the class as well. All this is to motivate you to better you. And so sometimes it takes a little nudge, a little push, a little encouragement to make that first step. As an infant, we were crawling, but we decided that one day we were tired of crawling and we wanted to start walking. And so we got up and we started walking, and we fell down many times. And some of us cried and boo-hooed every time we fell down. But did we not get back up? Did we not have the encouragement of mom and dad holding out their arms and saying, take those steps? You can make it. You can do it. Well, that's where you are right now, ladies and gentlemen, with me. My arms are extended to you to encourage you to take this first step, to invest in yourself. Learn real estate the proper way, learn to help others, and learn the rewards that are just waiting for you if you just take that first step. I want to thank you for sharing this quickest hour in real estate with me this Monday and every Monday. I always look forward to seeing everybody on Monday. I want you to help me out, ladies and gentlemen. Give me some feedback. Put into the comments what you liked about the class, what you would like to see in the class, and give me some feedback, ladies and gentlemen. Talk to me through the comments. If you don't want to call me directly, talk to me through the comments. I'll be happy to communicate with you. I'm on everything right now, and I'm going to be on even more. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Twitter. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Instagram. The list will go on, ladies and gentlemen. I'm hoping to add many more platforms to my live streaming events every Monday. So please comment and let me know what you like, you don't like, what you would like to see, and what you would like to accomplish. Even if you don't have the resources right now to pay for the class, talk to me, ladies and gentlemen. This is what we do in the real estate business. We're problem solvers. We work it out. And I assure you, 30 years in the business, I have enough resources and answers to help you out where you are today, to take you where you would like to be tomorrow. So I hope you enjoyed this live streaming class that I run every Monday. I put a little bit of work into it. Got to put my tie on, got to dress up, got to comb my hair, and look good. And then I got to put together this script, ladies and gentlemen. I write these scripts that I do every Monday, and hopefully the scripts are touching something. It's reaching you one way or another. What is it that you would like to see in a pre-real estate license class to give you more understanding of the class? Give me some feedback. I would absolutely appreciate that. So please remember to give a thumbs up. Let me know what you think in the comments. Please hit the subscribe so that we can see each other again. And no matter what, even if I'm talking to nobody, because I love to do live streaming. I don't like to do videos. Anybody could do a video. I like the live streaming. Life is live streaming. The real estate business is live streaming. And I want to encourage you to come to my live streaming class so that you have more resources and more knowledge so that you can make an informed decision about which school you want to attend. Plus you get to see my style and how I'm teaching and what I'm doing right now. So I don't know any other school that does this, ladies and gentlemen. I'm using all the resources that are available to me to reach out to you, to encourage you to invest in you. So I done my part. I'm looking forward to seeing you in my class. I'm looking forward to making you a licensed real estate professional this year. Until next Monday, ladies and gentlemen, be safe, be healthy, be happy. God willing, I will see everybody next week. All right. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And remember to comment in the section and let me know what you're thinking. Enjoy your day. I'll see everybody next Monday.